Namaste, all my dear students. Myself, JVN Dr. Hemant Vyas, Associate Professor, Head of Department of Surgery, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. This is the lecture of surgery for BHMS third year, and today we are going to discuss about diseases of ENT. And today's our topic is from the chapter nose, and in nose we are going to learn today about nasal polyps. So the name of session under which today's topic will be discussed is nasal polyps. So let's see what are these nasal polyps, what is the definition of nasal polyp, what are the predisposing factors or what are the causes of nasal polyps, what are the signs and symptoms, or what is the mechanism or what is the pathology going on. Then basically there are two types of nasal polyps that we are going to discuss today. One is antroconal polyp and another is ethmoidal polyp. Then we are also going to discuss about what are the clinical features that you can observe in the cases of nasal polyps. We will also study later about the investigations that we have to go for the final diagnosis, and how should we treat the nasal polyps with the help of medicines, or either we should go for surgery, at what time we should go for surgery. Then there are some homeopathic medicines also which are very beneficial to the patient in cases of nasal polyps, and in later stage we are going to discuss about all these topics. So let's study first what is a nasal polyp. So basically nasal polyp is prolapsed and pedunculated part of edematous mucosa of the nose or paranasal sinuses, and it is not a neoplasm. It is the edematous mucosa of the nose or our paranasal sinuses. That means our nose or paranasal sinuses, we have studied the paranasal sinuses. This is maxillary sinus, and behind the root of nose we have sphenoidal and ethmoidal sinuses, and on the above the eyebrow we have frontal sinuses. So all these things are lined with mucous membrane. But whenever there is excessive secretion of fluid, or whenever there is edema, excessive edema of these linings of nose, then the mucous membrane backs down or they hangs down. Okay, so whenever it hangs down and it becomes pedunculated, that time we call it as nasal polyp. Okay, so this is a simple concept of nasal polyp. Now let's see what are the types of nasal polyps. So basically there are two types of nasal polyps. First is antroconal polyp and another is ethmoidal polyp. So what is a antroconal polyp? Antroconal polyps mainly develop inside the maxillary sinuses. So here we have maxillary sinuses, and they have ostium, that is opening of the sinuses is called as ostium. So this ostium is directed backwards. So what happens, the area inside the maxillary sinus is called as antrum and the opening is called as ostium. So what happens, whenever there is chronic swelling or persistent edematous swelling of the nasal mucous membrane or mucous membrane of the sinuses, that time the mucous membrane hangs down. Okay, and it goes backwards inside the nose and it comes out from the nasopharynx. This is called as antroconal polyps. Then another type is called as ethmoidal polyps. So ethmoidal polyps are generally allergic in origin, and this occurs inside the ethmoidal polyps, which are behind the root of the nose. So in ethmoidal polyps, generally the nasal polyps are bilateral and they comes out in bunches and they are directed forwards inside the nose, whereas anteroconal polyps are directed backwards inside the nasopharynx. Okay. So let's see what are the etiological factors or causes of nasal polyps. So as far as age is concerned, the anteroconal polyps are usually found in children and young adults. Okay. Whereas ethmoidal polyps can be found in any age group, and basically they are because of nasal allergies. Then both sexes are equally affected. There is no sex differentiation like males are predominant when both are equally affected because of nasal polyps. Then let's see what are the predisposing factors which are there for development of nasal polyps. So first is allergy. So those persons who are allergic, they have more chances of production of nasal polyps. Ethmoidal polyps especially are developed because of allergies, that is in allergic rhinitis or other allergies. Then vasomotor rhinitis, the polyps result from the imbalance in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Then infection may produce polyps which are single or multiple. Mixed, all these factors when come together, they will produce nasal polyps. Then there is a phenomenon called as Bernoulli's phenomenon. What this phenomenon said, it says that whenever the air passes through a narrow passage, then it produces vacuum or negative pressure. So at that time, because of this negative pressure, the mucosa gets sucked up or it pedunculates and it causes nasal polyps. So this phenomena is called as Bernoulli's phenomenon. Then some polysaccharide chain in ground substance may be responsible for development of nasal polyps. Now let's see what are the pathological changes going on whenever there is nasal polyp. So first we will see about anteroconal polyp. Okay, so this polyps develop from antrum. So as the name suggests, it is from the antrum to cona. So that's why it is called as anteroconal polyp. So first is antral part. Okay, antral part. So here you can see in the diagram. This diagram is taken from the book, a short textbook of ENT diseases from the author is K.B. Bhargav, S.K. Bhargav and T.M. Shah. This is from the 5th edition of the book. Here you can see the anteroconal polyp. Okay, so this part in the maxillary sinus is the antral part. Okay, so whenever the polyp comes out, it grows backwards inside the nose and it pedunculates inside the conal part. Okay, so posterior nasal part is called as conal part. So it grows inside the conal part and it comes out from the conal part. A short part is also present in nasal. Okay, so basically the nasal polyp is trifoliate. Okay, so this is one part, second part nasal part, and third conal part. Antral part, nasal part, conal part. So that's how it looks like a trifoliate. Okay, so anteroconal polyp is basically a trifoliate. And let's see how it comes out, how it looks when it comes out from the nose. So when it comes out from the nose, it looks like this. Okay, so it directly straightway it comes out from the nasopharynx, and when it comes out from the sinus, maxillary sinus, and this is ostia from which it is coming out, and the part is going towards nasopharynx now. Okay, so this is anteroconal polyp, and these are ethmoidal polyps which develop from ethmoidal sinuses and they directly descend downwards inside the nose. Okay, so this is the basic difference between ethmoidal polyp and anteroconal polyp. So first is the antral part. So how the antral part looks, which is present in the maxillary sinuses. The polyp initially forms as a prolapsed mucosa, which usually hangs down from the roof of antrum, and it becomes edematous. It sags down and resulting in a formation of neck at the base. When it sags down, it forms neck at the base, and then it grows. It comes out from ostia and it goes inside the nasopharynx. Okay. The nasal part, the polyp gradually fills the antrum and the hiatus semillinaris of the nose, and the maxillary ostia is directed downwards and backwards, and the polyp follows the curve. Okay. In this stage, the polyp looks like dumbbell shape. Then pharyngeal part. When this nasal polyp grows, then it gets introduced inside the nasopharynx, and if it is neglected, then it may come out from nasopharynx to the oropharynx. Okay. So this is antroconal polyp. Then ethmoidal polyp. Ethmoidal polyp, as we have seen in diagram, they are multiple and they comes from ethmoidal polyp downwards in the nose. Okay, they directly comes out and they are generally bilateral. They are found in both nostrils. So now let's see what are the clinical features. Okay, so as there is a mass, okay, so obviously they cause blocking of the nose. Okay, so the nose becomes blocked and it is not relieved because of decongestant drugs. Generally, when the nose is blocked, if we introduce decongestant drops inside the nose, then the blockage gets relieved. But it is not in cases of nasal polyps. Okay, the nasal polyps are not relieved by these decongestant drops. Then ethmoidal polyps are bilateral and they cause blocking. Sneezing is present generally in cases of only in cases of allergic patients, but not in other cases. Then the discharge is generally clear, but if they are infected, the polyps are infected secondarily with bacteria, then there is purulent discharge also. Then expansion of nose. Okay, so whenever the polyps grows inside the nose becomes broad and it looks like a frog nose. Okay, so frog nose deformity is generally found in cases of nasal polyps. Okay, so this question is many times asked as a multiple choice question also. Then expansion of nose takes place. Anosmia is there. The patient has difficulty in breathing, in having smell. So the sensation of smell is decreased in patients. So there will be anosmia. When the polyp reaches oropharynx or nasopharynx, then the tone of voice of the patient becomes changed, and this is called as hyponasal voice. Okay, so that's why the patients are having more troubles in speech also. There is also snoring of the patient. When the patient goes to sleep, it has difficulty in breathing, and when the person breathes from mouth, there is snoring in the patients. Then signs, there are some external signs. The external nose may be broad and it becomes long, and on anterior rhinoscopy, the polyps are smooth, pale, pearly white, and they are pulpy, and they are generally painless. Now, what we find in posterior rhinoscopy, antroconal polyps may be seen hanging in the nasopharynx when we see in the posterior rhinoscopy. Ethmoidal polyps are not visible in cases of posterior rhinoscopy. Then what investigations we should go for? If we go for investigation of nasal secretions, you may find abundant IgE antibodies in that, because if the patient is allergic. Then mostly we should go for radiograph. So whenever we go for radiograph, we should go for anteroposterior view of sinuses, or we can go for oblique view of the sinuses for better detection of the polyps. In cases of ethmoidal polyps, we can see the ethmoidal sinuses become hazy, whereas if there is antroconal polyp, in that case the maxillary sinuses become hazy in the radiographs. Okay. So this is the basically difference. If the malignancy is suspected, you should straight away go for biopsy of that patient. Then for treatment of the antroconal polyp and ethmoidal polyp is obviously different. Ethmoidal polyps are generally allergic in origin, so the chances of recurrence after the surgery is more. Okay, so even after the surgery, the ethmoidal polyps may recur, but the chances of recovery in cases of antroconal polyp is greater, or it is better by surgery. So once we surgically remove, so the antroconal polyp can be permanently annihilated, but ethmoidal sinus can recur even after surgery. So what surgical procedures we should go? So in cases of children in which dentition process is not complete, in that we have to go for polypectomy, but this polypectomy has to be done with the help of snare. A snare is introduced. The snare will goes up to the base of the polyp, and the polyps will be pulled out. This process is done under general anesthesia or local anesthesia. But in cases where the development of teeth is complete, that time we go for Caldwell-Luke operation, in which the base of maxillary sinus is inside, and from there there we should introduce the snare inside, and we should pull out the affected part of the mucous membrane from that area. So that procedure is called as Caldwell-Luke operation. Okay, so these are the choice of treatment in cases of nasal polyps. So that's it from the today's presentation. But as far as homeopathic treatment is concerned, there are very helpful medicines, very important medicines in homeopathy. The most important is Calcarea car, Calcarea fos, then Teucrium. Teucrium is very important. Allium cepa can also help when the patient is allergic. Sanguinaria is also helpful. Then Lamna minor. Lamna minor is a specific remedy nearly for in the cases of nose block due to polyps inside the nose. Okay. Then cadmium sulf is also important remedy for annihilation of the nasal polyps. Okay. So these are the important remedies. You can see the indications of these medicines in the textbook of Materia Medica. Okay. So that's it from the today's presentation. Hope you like this presentation. Okay, so thank you very much. This topic can be asked in exam for long question also, and for 15 marks or 20 marks. So prepare well, prepare your notes, and you can ask me in the problem solving classes if you have any query. So that's it from the today's presentation. Thank you very much.